Immunology Part 8. Here we discuss about innate immunity and acquired immunity. Innate immunity. Immunity will come by birth is called innate immunity. Immunity which we get by birth is called innate immunity. Innate immunity inborn or present at the time of birth. It's a non-specific line, does not depend on the prior contact with the microbes. Innate immunity is of various types like physical barriers, physiological barriers, cellular barriers, cytokine barriers. Skin and mucous membranes are the examples for physical barriers. HCl in stomach, saliva in the mouth, and tears from the eyes are called physiological barriers. About the cellular barriers here, neutrophils, which are called polymorphonuclear leukocytes, monocytes, natural killer cells, macrophages of the tissues are all called cellular barriers. Interferons are belongs to cytokine barriers. Interferons are belongs to cytokine barriers. Innate immunity is of various types like physical barriers, physiological barriers, cellular barriers, cytokine barriers. Acquired immunity. Acquired immunity, which means immunity after birth. Immunity after birth. When we expose to the various kinds of microbes, whatever the immunity we get is called acquired immunity. Acquired immunity is of two types. Active acquired immunity, passive acquired immunity. Active acquired immunity and passive acquired immunity. Active acquired immunity is of two types again. Natural active acquired immunity, artificial active acquired immunity. What is natural active acquired immunity? When the microbes are entered naturally into the body, microbes, when they enter naturally into the body, our immune system will become active. Third line of defense we are talking about. Our immune system becomes active, like we develop memory cells, T memory cells and B memory cells which we develop. We say such kind of immunity as natural active acquired immunity. Here we discussed in the earlier videos like when the microbes are entered into the body, the production of memory cells against the microbes, the process is comparatively late. That's why we get the infection for the first time, but may not be for the second or third time or further because of the development of memory cells. So, in that case we say natural active acquired immunity, natural active acquired immunity. In that case, we say the process is going to be comparatively late. But in this case, we don't get the infection further. Once we get the infection, for the first time when we get the infection, we may not get it for the second time or third time or further because of development of the immunological memory. Further development of immunological memory, we may not get for the second, third or further times. We call the process as natural active acquired immunity. In this case, natural means entry of microbes is natural. Our immune system will back active against that and we acquire immunological memory. Next, let's see the artificial active acquired immunity. With this property that when we expose it to the microbes for the first time, we may not get for the second because of the memory. With this property, what we are doing nowadays, that we are making the entry of microbes artificially into the body. That means weakened microbes or killed microbes. We are making them to enter artificially into our body. That makes our immune system active and we develop immunological memory without infection. Without infection because we are taking microbes, killed microbes, weakened microbes. So this process nowadays became very famous, that is called vaccines. The mechanism of vaccine here, we are exposing to certain microbe. We are exposing to that particular microbe in a weakened form or a killed form, that to develop the immunological memory, that to develop the memory cells. The process we say artificial active acquired immunity. In that case, artificial entry of microbes is artificial, which makes our immune system active, which makes the development of memory cells. In this case, without any infection, we are going to develop the immunological memory. The process we say vaccines, example, toxoid vaccines, again is the tetanus. Various vaccines are developed nowadays, like attenuated whole agent vaccine, inactivated whole agent vaccine, toxoid vaccines, conjugated vaccine. That modern technology makes the recombinant vaccines. Various types of vaccines are developed. Vaccine, the mechanism behind the vaccine is artificial active acquired immunity. So, natural active acquired immunity includes when we get the infection for the first time, we may not get further times. Artificial active acquired immunity, without getting infection even for the first time, we are going to develop immunological memory. Example for natural active acquired immunity is like smallpox, chickenpox, and the example given for artificial active acquired immunity or toxoid vaccines again is the tetanus. Passive acquired immunity. Passive acquired immunity. Here the case passive means our immune system is not active, which it is not working, or it may work late. That we say passive acquired immunity. So for the best example here for the natural passive acquired immunity, that passive acquired immunity is of two types, natural passive acquired immunity and artificial passive acquired immunity. The best example for natural passive acquired immunity is colostrum, mother's milk. After the parturition, after the delivery of the baby, the newborn baby may not fight with various kinds of infections. That's why the preformed antibodies, the mother develop various kinds of antibodies. Various kinds of antibodies are developed by the mother and that are given to the newborn baby with the help of initial days of milk. We call the initial days of milk as colostrum. Mechanism behind this, natural entry of antibodies is natural from the mother to the infant, newborn baby. That passive immune system of newborn baby is passive. In that case, they are taking antibodies from the mother. Acquired, there is no immunological memory. The baby is not fighting against the infection. Just they are taking antibodies from the mother. Hence we call no immunological memory. So, natural passive acquired immunity. Collecting antibodies naturally from the mother, we say natural passive acquired immunity. Let's see the artificial passive acquired immunity. That artificial entry of antibodies is artificial because our immune system is inactive. What we acquire, there is no immunological memory we acquire because we are not fighting against with the infections here. We are taking antibodies artificially who are developed somewhere else in a laboratory animal. Let's take example for this. If we take anti-venom serum, for example, the snake poison venom entered in the human body. That means venom antigens, we may develop antibodies against with the venom antigen, but we said development of antibody process for the first time is comparatively late. That in the mean period of time person may die. That's why we take antibodies directly into the body, that kind of antibodies are developed in case of anti-venom serum. The antibodies are developed in the horse or sheep in a laboratory process. That antibodies against the venom which are developed, we are injecting that fight against that venom antigens. Antibodies we are taking into the body, they fight against the venom antigens for us. So this process we say artificial passive acquired immunity. Artificial passive acquired immunity means the entry of antibodies into the body to fight against with the various kinds of infection. In that case, our immune system is inactive. That's why we don't get any immunological memory. Finally, acquired immunity is of two types: active acquired immunity and passive acquired immunity. In case of active acquired immunity, there are two types: natural active acquired immunity, artificial active acquired immunity. Passive acquired immunity is of two types: natural passive acquired immunity, artificial passive acquired immunity. Natural active acquired immunity, as we said now, the entry of microbes is natural, our immune system becomes active and we develop immunological memory. Artificial active acquired immunity, entry of microbes is artificial, weakened or killed microbes, and our immune system become active and we develop immunological memory. In this case, natural active acquired immunity, once we get the infection, we may not get it for the second time or third time. In this case, artificial active acquired immunity, we may not develop the infection even for the first time because we developed immunological memory with their weakened pathogens. Then natural passive acquired immunity. Mother's milk is the best example for this. Colostrum we call, initial days of mother milk having antibodies which will come from the mother to the infant. Directly we are supplying antibodies to the baby. So, this case we say natural passive acquired immunity. Artificially, which are developed in the laboratory animal. Whatever the antibodies are developed in the laboratory animal, we are taking directly to fight against the different kinds of infection. We say artificial passive acquired immunity. So, this is about innate immunity, which we said it will come by birth. Acquired immunity, the immunity which will be developed after birth. So dear friends, to watch the immunology part 1 to 7, the previous parts of immunology, please visit the neatsrikant.blogspot.com. To join in the classes, please send your request to this number. Please send your request to this number to join the further classes of intermediate second year or CBSE plus 2 people. You can join here by sending request to this number. And for the question papers of NEET biology, the 38 chapters of biology, you can download from here, and consolidated examination grant tests are also available here. Thank you. Srikant.